there to watch.
Flash Business ni ikiganiro kibumbatiye amakuru y'ubukungu,
kiraguhuza n'inzobere n'abajyanama mu by'ubukungu ndetse n'ishoramari.
Abafite za business nam, iyi niyo nzira imwe rukumbi yo kuguhuza n'abakiriya maze ishoramari ryawe rikaguka.
Good evening, everyone who is watching Flash TV. Remember, it's a Flash Business program. The Flash Business program, always we are the guests from different places, guests from different businesses. So now I'm going to welcome the guest we have tonight. Then we're going to talk about different things about how the African can make changes doing technology. So I have my guest, my light. Can you tell us your name and where you're coming from?
Good to be with you, Belgian, on Flash TV Business. My name is Marlon Weir. I'm from Jamaica originally, and grew up in the States, and now I'm in Africa, back home. Okay. And my business is technology. We're working on a mobile application that's revolutionary, transformative, if you will, and for a specific target audience, Africa and diaspora of African descent globally. Okay,
thanks so much. On my left also I have guests. Tell us your name.
Hello, hi. My name is Nakule Consulata. I work at Rwanda ICT Chamber. Rwanda ICT Chamber is a chamber under private PSF. Yeah. Okay. So what I concentrate on is e-commerce projects.
Okay, e-commerce projects. Thanks so much. So let me ask you maybe the way you come from in Africa, in Rwanda, mostly you're talking that you are coming from Jamaica. Why did you choose to come in Africa to do your business here in Rwanda?
Yes, great question. Rwanda to me represents just like almost like a magical transformation story. Redemption. It's a very special place in that seeing that just a short time ago, relatively, we didn't know what was going to happen. To the next step, and now seeing the for lack of a better word, miracle that Rwanda is really representing that a progressive modern African country can be. So from ease of doing business to safety to cleanliness, they say always, like cleanest streets in all of Africa. Again, one of the safest countries in the world, and rule of law, no corruption, kind of laws and these sorts of things. So, everything just from a personal experience, personal standpoint, as well as a business standpoint, makes sense in Rwanda.
Okay, as you're talking about technology, working with the technology, so how do you see so far in Rwanda? How is it going? Like the way you look, like you are new here, but now you're working on technology. How do you see now to work?
Yes. I see that Rwanda is making great strides with implementing technology in various systems, such as RDB. You can register your business online in a matter of hours, right? They're facilitating these kinds of things for ease of doing business and to attract more foreign direct investment as well as domestic investment. So technology, obviously, and in front of our eyes, is being used to facilitate and enhance everything in society.
Okay. Yeah, like Rwanda ICT Chamber, how do you make people to understand more this e-commerce in Rwanda?
Yeah, so at the chamber, we basically deal with the businesses first, because we first try to enable the businesses to conduct business in a better way than they usually do. We do advocate for them because they are really usually very small, and they need to get even as e-commerce platforms, maybe let me start with that, they need to get businesses to get on their platform for them to be able to sell. But again, we also have to reach out to the customers themselves. You cannot just enable one side without enabling the other side. So we also have trainings for the businesses, awareness campaigns with partnership with the ministry. The government is a very close collaborator in this. So with the help of the government and with our own interventions with our funders, we look at both sides, both the business side and the consumer side.
But mostly when you're talking about technology, e-commerce, people understand that people who is going to use that technology, online shopping, is people who have been finished schools, who have intellectual. Yeah. So how do you make that people who not get that chance to go to school, to be in school, to know how to use that technology or shopping online?
True. When it comes to technology, people just think about, you have to be educated.
Yes.
even with the smartphones themselves, someone needs to be able to at least read on the phone to be able to carry out this kind of thing. But for, you know, like we have a project called Ihuzo, where we are using people we are calling workers. It's just a fancy of saying internet workers. So this is where we are using these people already existing in their communities, agents, freelancers, who will be able to help people like those that cannot even, you know, read on their phones. They cannot carry out businesses since they are not literate or they cannot read and write. So the workers are there to help them to carry out business even though they can't.
Can you tell me more about your project, please, you are doing now? Because you're talking about technology. It's like closing the whole Africa, that you're going to make like this Africa to be continent, doing this, using this technology. Tell me about so far, how what have been done in your project.
Sure, thank you. It's called AFRIKANEKT, and AFRIKANEKT is a transformative super application, and we say transformative because we feel that our goal is to transform lives, right? This is for Africa, you know, to uplift us, you know, through technology. And primarily what it's about is enhancing things that are already in society. So you see, for instance, trade, you know, trading between African countries. This needs to be made easier for the common person to be able to access these huge and vast resources, right? When we hear about Africa, usually it's about people from the outside exploiting Africa's resources. You rarely hear about Africans exploiting their own resources. Even the, you know, the bad actors that have taken from the country, they usually put it into a European country, right? You know, they're not putting it back into Africa. That's why Africa is where it is. So through technology, we hope to actually spread out access to be able to use trade, you know, for that kind of resource. Then we think about communication. So same like you see, WhatsApp has had hundreds of millions of users globally. You know, we have our own WhatsApp platform as a messenger. And what we feel like is better about the way that we're thinking about it is that it integrates with other applications within AFRIKANEKT, right? And that's what makes it a super application. All of the mini apps work together, right? They're integrated into one system, and you don't have to leave the application to do anything. Because people have what's called app fatigue. You know, the average person has 40 apps on their phone and only use 9. There's too many.
But before maybe you start this project, you have been seeing the challenges in the African face. Which one?
Which one first?
Yeah.
Ooh, COVID. COVID is the biggest challenge right now, and that's not Africa's fault.
That's why you started the project? That's why you started that project?
No.
For AFRIKANEKT.
I see. So, no, that's not the problem we're trying to fix. I thought that you meant what challenges have we faced. But no, COVID is not the problem we're trying to fix. But what we saw that Africa needs certain things to be enhanced, right? We have potential, right? Being the youngest continent in the world, you have potential. In youth comes potential. You can be anything you want to be, right? That's what they say, right? So how do we equip people to be anything they want to be, right? We don't need so many rocket scientists. We need a lot more hard skills people. You know, let's get some more carpenters, some more electricians, plumbers, etc. You can learn these things through technology. Look how many things you can see on video today. So that's what we're looking to enhance within Africa, skills that already exist, and even develop people further than they thought they could. Because a lot has to do with finances. And through our application, most of the services are free to the user.
Do you think this project, maybe using technology, there is more young people gonna get a job from there? Like to make entrepreneurs to be using that technology?
Yes. A lot of the point of AFRIKANEKT is to give particularly young people the opportunity to generate revenue, right? And create these equitable revenue share partnerships with the average user. So now they can go from just being a survivalist into an entrepreneur, you know, into a business person. Because, for instance, through the trading platform, you can trade things professionally. And not just within Rwanda, but across Africa and even the world. That's why I say the global diaspora is part of that target market.
Maybe in Rwanda, ICT Chamber, some long time ago, people talking about some robbers who are stealing something through online. How do you manage to make sure that those people you are working with, you partner with, so they are safe for in their project?
Okay. First of all, we do our due diligence, of course. We don't accept members that have any kind of tricky, background or there's RDB. Of course, we have a limit to what we can do. We work closely with the government institution. We have RDB, we have RURA that helps us, our very close partner. So with all this partnership, we are able to, filter out the people that might have a few issues. Because even recently, I think you have also seen it, RDB just published a few e-commerce platforms that were not really, they were doing some things that were not very good. Yeah, and other than that, again, we also have to sensitize our citizens. Our citizens need to know what is the red flags. They should be able to identify those red flags. So, of course, the businesses themselves do their part, but also us as the ICT Chamber, we try to make sure that the customers are able to identify the right partners to work with.
So, you was talking about Ihuzo project,
Yes.
this new project you have.
Yes.
Why do you choose to start this program? How is it going to make maybe Rwanda people to develop their life, to change their life, in the economy?
Right. So he's saying he didn't bring his work up because of COVID, but for us it's actually because of COVID. Yeah. So we brought Ihuzo because as a COVID response project, because during the lockdown, a lot of businesses were confused. They didn't know what to do. Their businesses were closed. They could not sell. They did not know even where to get the information to start selling online. So Ihuzo project looks at three aspects. It looks at the e-commerce platforms, making sure that the e-commerce platforms are known. You know about their services. Not only the e-commerce platforms, e-commerce has several aspects. There is also digital finance, so financial services, there's e-logistics, there is also just knowing where to get the skills, the e-commerce skills, the digital skills, how to do your marketing of your business digitally. All these things. We are partnering with all these people, and then we are using people we are calling the iWorkers, as I talked about. These iWorkers are actually there. They are just seated. They have maybe one or two skills. So using our partners, we teach them one more skill that they can actually use and go down. I was telling him before that most of our businesses are startups. Everybody just doesn't have enough capacity to reach out to every district, to every last person down there. Yes, there are so many businesses in Rwanda. So iWorkers are agents, people in Rainbow agents, for example. They are tech people who have studied in these tech universities that are just in their villages. They don't have any work to do. So we are connecting them with all these partners. They teach them what to do, and then they go down to their districts and onboard the different businesses onto their platforms. On top of that, there's also the trainings we have been running for the businesses, just to, it's like an awareness of some sort, because they need to know what e-commerce is in the first place. You're not going to tell someone, put your products on a platform, and then what? They want money tomorrow.
Yes.
Yet e-commerce is a process. So we have to sensitize them, take them through the whole process. It's working.
But when you're talking about trainings, people who is maybe watching us from Musanze district, from a different country, Nyagatare, whatever, they are thinking about training is going to happen in Kigali only. Maybe you are focusing on the people who is in Kigali.
No.
I want you to tell them, maybe if you are going to focus with everywhere in the country, either you are working only in Kigali.
Ihuzo project is actually not only Ihuzo. A few days ago, I think my colleagues were here talking about MSMEs Go Digital project. It covers the whole country. And that's why I'm saying the e-commerce platforms in the past were mainly in Kigali, and that's why you're saying many people are fancy people in Kigali who can only shop online. But they were trying to make sure that even that person in Musanze and Rubavu, you have recently had Vuba is now in Musanze and Rubavu. Now there's also that awareness that needs to be conducted for the people around there to not sit in their homes and stand up and have to go to the restaurant to buy. So we are really reaching out to all these districts. There's no district we are leaving behind. It is a step-by-step process, and we are also looking to open digital service centers. So what are digital service centers? They're already existing infrastructure, the telecenters that have been all over the country. So other than just them selling Irembo services, when you want to declare your tax, we want to say that you can also come here and get information about e-commerce. So we're going to launch that across the country. We're targeting to have 100 across the country. Yes.
Do you think this is going to be culture in Africa to shop through online? People, they're going to understood very well and clear in Africa. This culture for shopping online.
Sure, of course. We're definitely going to start with small numbers, right? As Consulata is explaining, you have to sensitize the population. And I know that sounds rather clinical, but it's quite true, because for so long we've done things hand to hand, right? Cash society.
Yes.
In Africa, cash has been king forever. So in order to show people this virtual transactions and these sorts of things, and they're safe, that delivery will be done on time, and the condition that you saw online, so kind of like the checks and balances need to be in place. So even the infrastructure to set up within the government, for regulations, like there's several layers to this that we just look at places like America and Europe now and just say, oh, right, they have it together. That was a process. It was a process. It took time. So for Africa,
but in Europe, they have that catch up on lady. In Europe, they have that catch up on lady. But in Africa, I don't think. Do you think it will be easy?
No, of course not.
Because of mindset, some mindset to the different people. Thinking that I'm going to shop something which I've been really watch it and take in my hand. African, we have a catch up. Before you buy something, maybe you go and take a look. So now to buy something online. Do you think this culture it will be easy?
It will not be easy. Right? It will not be easy, and you'll have a very slow trickle into it. But if you look at, for instance, South Africa is already a very sophisticated culture, in the sense of being consumers. I'm not saying in general like sophisticated than anyone else, but in terms of like, consumership. So they're used to purchasing things both online and offline already. Nigeria is quickly becoming that as well. Ghana quickly becoming that. Kenya, of course, if we look at East Africa, and of course Rwanda, where we are, you have very, sophisticated consumers as well. So it will take time, but it's going to spread and exponentially.
People maybe watching us, they want to know more about you, maybe as you are an expert in this technology, they want to know you more about the way they can maybe get something new from you. What can I expect from you?
That's a very wide question. What can you expect from me?
Yes, people.
Belgene.
Yeah, tell me.
From me as a business person?
Yes.
Okay, it's just a very wide question. But okay, thank you. So for me personally, you can get accountability. Right? I never overstretch myself. I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. I didn't go to school for IT. I'm not going to put on airs about that. I'm a Pan-African. I'm a passionate person about Africa, the collective redemption of Africa, meaning that we require unity to rise above. Like this is a Pan-African vision, just like the Kwame Nkrumah's, Marcus Garvey's, Thomas Sankaра's, Patrice Lumumba, etc. Before. So technology is what we feel like was missing. So that's what I'm using within my passion for Africa, and like peoples of African descent globally, to say that here's an easy way for us, and a facilitated way. Nothing's easy. Here's a facilitated way for us to finally come together.
Okay.
If you think about any relationship, it's about communication, right? So if we have effective communication, we're less likely to resort to anything violent or rash or these sorts of things. We'll want to communicate. And technology, what does it do? It helps us communicate.
Okay.
But now we're not targeting everyone. We have a very specific target group, because we have to think about psychology as well. Both Africa and the diaspora has been damaged for a long time.
Okay.
Right? And this damage requires repair. Yeah? And the quickest way to send these messages is through technology. So you can see from that vision, there's like a wholly idealistic vision for what Africa should be. But I feel that's okay. It's okay to be a bit childlike about what you want for your people, right? So it's a bit idealistic vision, but we're realistic in terms of how it will actually be executed, which is why I said nothing's going to be easy. It's going to take time.
Okay. So maybe I want to ask you about this doing e-commerce in Rwanda. Do you see any challenge you face maybe for this
Yeah, there are several challenges that are also coming off as opportunities. So the e-commerce platforms in themselves, they are still small, so they need a lot of support so that they reach the level of the Amazons, and what that is really high up there. As you were saying, we have to start from somewhere and then we'll continue and grow. There's also the challenge that as Rwandese, as Africans, we want to, as you say, touch, and we want to feel before we say we buy anything, which is a culture we need to change slowly but slowly. There are some policies, even as an e-commerce platform, there's the exchange policy, which is not practiced by all our e-commerce platforms. It is something that we are talking about with the ministries to come up with nice, good policies that are applicable for Rwanda, because it might not be the same as America or Europe. Maybe something that will be applicable for Rwanda, and that e-commerce platforms can have as a guide, and then also the customers can also be comfortable to start buying online. Yeah, even the businesses themselves to go online is a challenge in itself. Yeah, they don't really understand it very fast because they want to sell and receive their money and put it in their pockets. And this is not the case with e-commerce. There's a process so that you can get your payment and it goes in your pocket. Even e-payment in itself, during lockdown, MTN, cut off the costs for the sending and receiving. The transactions went up, and then the transactions costs came up, and again the Momo went low. So it's about understanding the importance of those charges. That is also another challenge that we really have to understand as users.
Some students have been talking to different universities, different secondary school. They was like, we don't have enough equipment like computers to do the research, to know more about technology. So do you think that is challenge, is it big for making people, young people, to know more, how to get more experience about technology?
No, I wouldn't view it that way, because I think as a country we have a lot of opportunities for young people. And I'm saying that if you cannot use the universities that are already existing, and I'm sure the ministry is working very hard to make sure all the universities are equipped with the computers and the internet, all that infrastructure that is needed. But again, even as the chamber, we do have a few startup houses where someone can go and test their product. So it can come from an idea to a proper product that can be used on the market. So everyone is chipping in to make, of course, as you say, this is a big space. We cannot occupy it in one day. We cannot, not even in 5 years. So it's baby steps. Everyone is coming in. So they can come to the chamber. Anyone who is an ICT person who feels they have a good idea, they can come. We have K-Lab. K-Lab is a very good place to go and practice and try your ideas. 250 Startups is also a good startup house where you can be taught not only about how to improve your product, but also improve your business in general. Because this is a big challenge with most of the businesses out here. We have a good idea, but we are not business people. Yet, e-commerce is a business. Anything, any idea is a business. His is a business. So you need to be a business person and apply your idea at the same time.
As you are going to end of the program, what can you tell maybe people who is watching us?
I'm going to tell people to be more accepting. We should accept the changes. We are not the same.
Most people is doing business.
Yes, we are not the same. We are not going to keep sitting in our shops and hope we are going to sell. Us as customers, we are tired of coming to your shops. Not everyone is going to come to your shop, and that's why people call you and you deliver their product. That's already e-commerce. So the next step is for you to now go back to the platform, make a few clicks, lower the interactions. There's COVID. You're not going to be talking to someone all the time. So, be adaptive to the changes. The world is changing very rapidly. Technology is coming to us whether we want it or not. Yes.
As we're going to end of the program, what can you say to the people who is watching us, mostly in Rwanda and outside of the country? What can you say about this technology in Africa, as we are going to end of the program?
Sure. Africa is the now and the foreseeable future. Africa has the youngest population. Africa has some of the fastest growing economies. The only way is up within Africa, right? And we see the world starting to come here. So we have to understand as Africans that we have to control our own destiny, right? We can't let the world come without us benefiting. Okay, so there's no problem with foreign direct investment, right? Africa loves friends, okay? But the point is equitable relationships. We need to see our people rising up more and having opportunities like this. And like I explained before, diaspora and continental Africans need to cement this link. You know, this is completely untapped potential. You know, you have over 300 million people of African descent globally, and the majority of those don't have a direct connection with Africa. So there's all kinds of cultural exchange and relationships that we can strengthen by working together. So AFRIKANEKT is looking to be that bridge, you know, that connects us. Because technology is that connector, you know, it's what brings people together. That's why it's called AFRIKANEKT, right?
Okay.
Like you see, everything is about connecting.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I want to definitely leave with Rwanda.
Do you have any platform? Maybe they can find you. People want to follow you. Any platform?
Yeah, of course. We have a website, particularly for investors. Like the website's not really consumer based right now because again we're under development. But we want to offer the opportunity now when the share price is low, right? We're a private company, so it's a private share offering, but if you go to the website, you can find out more information about that.
Okay.
But the point is that, you know, how many times have we seen like, you know, a technology company, all of a sudden it's a $1 billion company, what you call a unicorn. And you're sitting at home like, oh, if only I knew about that, you know, that opportunity, that investment. So now, like those people that you know, are in a position can look at this investment, and you go to www.afrikanekt.com.
Do you have also platform, maybe people who is like most of the young people?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure. So we do have a USSD which is very easy to register. It's ICT Chamber and it is, let me read it out, *801*4#. So once you click that, you will be directed to two different projects. Both of them are e-commerce projects. There is Ihuzo that we work with iWorkers. The young people can take advantage of that. And then there is also MSMEs Go Digital. Businesses mainly can take up that. So there is the one for for Ihuzo. Both businesses, partners, anybody who works in e-commerce sector can register in that. So
Thank you so much, Consulata, for being with us.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for everyone who have been watching this program. I hope we'll see you next time. Good evening. Bye bye.
Flash Business ni ikiganiro kibumbatiye amakuru y'ubukungu,
kiraguhuza n'inzobere n'abajyanama mu by'ubukungu ndetse n'ishoramari.
Abafite za business nama, iyi niyo nzira imwe rukumbi yo kuguhuza n'abakiriya maze ishoramari ryawe rikaguka.
Flash TV, be there to watch.